When we talk about deep cleansing, most people assume it just means washing your face a little better or using a stronger cleanser. But the truth is, deep cleansing goes far beyond that. It's the foundation of absolutely everything else you do for your skin. If the surface isn't clear, if the pores aren't unobstructed, and if the buildup isn't removed consistently, then even the best treatments, the most expensive serums, and the most advanced procedures lose their effectiveness. Imagine trying to paint over dust. You might get some color to stick, but the finish will never be as smooth or as vibrant as it could be. The skin works the same way when it's weighed down with oil residue, pollution particles, sweat, sunscreen, and leftover makeup. It simply can't perform its natural functions the way it's meant to. And that buildup doesn't happen overnight. Every day your skin is working overtime. It protects you from the environment, from UV light, from bacteria, from changes in humidity, from the dirt and debris floating around you. It's constantly creating oil to seal in moisture, shedding old skin cells, and renewing itself. When all of that mixes together on the surface, especially if it isn't washed away thoroughly, it creates a layer your pores struggle to push through. That's when problems start. Texture becomes rougher. Pores look more visible, makeup doesn't sit right, and most importantly, your skin starts sending you signals that it's overwhelmed. Signals people often mistake for random breakouts, sudden dullness, or bad luck with their skin. Deep cleansing matters because it gives your skin room to breathe again. It allows your natural cell turnover to happen the way it's supposed to. And when that internal process isn't clogged or suffocated, everything looks better. Your skin feels smoother, your pores look tighter, and your complexion has that fresh, almost lighter quality to it, like it finally exhaled after holding its breath for too long. What most people don't realize is that when your pores stay congested, they stretch over time. That's why some people feel like their pores look bigger the older they get. It isn't age alone. It's years of congestion slowly pushing those walls outward. Deep cleansing helps prevent that gradual widening and helps the skin maintain its natural structure longer. Another reason deep cleansing is so essential is because it prevents inflammation before it has a chance to start. When debris sits in a pore, bacteria feed on it. When bacteria settle in, inflammation shows up. And once inflammation begins, everything becomes more complicated. You get redness, swelling, tenderness, and a healing process that takes far longer than it needs to. Deep cleansing, done consistently, interrupts that cycle before it even begins. It's like taking away the fuel before the fire has a chance to catch. But deep cleansing isn't about being aggressive. It's not about scrubbing until your skin feels squeaky or tight. In fact, that feeling of tightness is a sign that the skin barrier has been disturbed. True deep cleansing is about working with the skin, not against it. It's about using the right techniques to lift impurities without damaging the surface or stripping away the protective oils your skin actually needs. When the routine is gentle but effective, the skin responds beautifully. It becomes more predictable, more balanced, and more resilient. You start noticing fewer flare-ups and more consistent clarity because the base you're working with is clean and calm. And here's the part. Most people underestimate. Deep cleansing sets the stage for every product that follows. When the pathway is clear, active ingredients can actually reach the areas they're designed to treat. That means you're brightening. Serums brighten better, your hydrating products absorb more fully, and your treatment formulas work deeper instead of just sitting on top of old residue. The clearer the surface, the better the absorption. The better the absorption, the better the results. It's that simple. So when I say deep cleansing can change your skin, I'm not exaggerating. It's the one step that unlocks everything else. It's the gateway to smoother texture, fewer breakouts, smaller looking pores, and healthier looking skin overall. If there's one habit worth building, one routine worth perfecting, it's this one. Because when you give your skin the clean foundation it deserves, it will reward you with the clarity you've been chasing. This is where transformation truly begins. Most people think clogged pores just happen out of nowhere. They wake up one morning, look in the mirror, and suddenly there's a cluster of blackheads on the nose or a stubborn bump on the chin, and it feels like it appeared overnight. But congestion is a slow process. It builds quietly, layer by layer, until one day the pore is so packed it finally becomes visible on the surface. Understanding why this happens is the key to preventing it from happening in the first place. A pore's job is simple. It's the tiny opening where oil travels from the sebaceous gland to the surface of your skin. That oil isn't a bad thing. Your skin produces it naturally to moisturize, protect, and maintain balance. The problem begins when that oil mixes with dead skin cells your body sheds every day. Those cells are supposed to fall away on their own, but sometimes they stick, especially if your skin is dry, dehydrated, or exposed to heavy products, pollution, or sunscreen that hasn't been washed off properly. When the oil and dead cells combine, they form a plug. At first it's soft, almost like a paste, but if it sits too long, it becomes firm and compact. That's the very beginning of what you later see as a blackhead or a clogged bump. What makes this even trickier is that you can't always feel it happening. Early congestion doesn't hurt, it doesn't itch, it doesn't send up any warning signals. The pore simply gets a little fuller each day, and while it's filling up, the opening stretches, slowly widening to accommodate the buildup. That's one reason pores can look larger over time, not because they open or close, but because they expand to make room for what's stuck inside them. Now, when air reaches the top of that trapped material, the oil oxidizes. Oxidation is just a natural reaction to oxygen. That's what turns the surface dark and gives a blackhead its color. Many people mistake this for dirt trapped in the pore, and they scrub aggressively trying to remove it. But the dark color isn't dirt, it's oil that's been exposed to air. Scrubbing doesn't remove oxidized oil. It usually irritates the surrounding skin, strips its moisture, and triggers even more oil production, which just feeds the cycle. Another common misconception is that people believe their pores get clogged simply because they have oily skin. While oil production definitely plays a role, even dry skin can get clogged easily. In fact, dry skin often sheds more dead cells, and because the surface is rougher, those cells don't fall away as smoothly. They get stuck, mix with even the smallest amount of oil, and create congestion just as quickly. So it's not just about how much oil your skin produces, it's about how well your skin sheds, breathes, and stays balanced. Environmental factors play a huge part too. Think about everything your skin encounters throughout the day: humid air, city pollution, sweat, sunscreen, makeup, friction from touching your face or wearing a mask. Every layer adds something to the surface, and if those layers aren't removed consistently and correctly, they start packing down on top of each other. The pore becomes the storage container for everything your skin can't handle on its own, and eventually that container overflows. That's why clogged pores show up so frequently in the same places: the nose, chin, forehead, and cheeks. These are the areas where oil production is naturally highest, where sweat collects, and where people touch their face without realizing it. Add things like heavy creams, pore-filling makeup, or forgetting to double cleanse after using sunscreen, and you have the perfect environment for congestion to thrive. And once a pore is clogged, it becomes harder for anything else to get in or out. Products sit on the surface instead of absorbing. The skin looks dull because light reflects differently off uneven texture. And bacteria find exactly the kind of trapped oxygen-poor environment they love. That's where breakouts begin. The clog that was once harmless becomes inflamed, sore, or turns into a full-blown blemish because bacteria finally got involved. Understanding all of this, the oil, the dead skin, the oxidation, the environment, changes the way you treat your skin. Instead of trying to attack the surface aggressively, you focus on keeping the pathways clear. Instead of blaming your skin for misbehaving, you start giving it what it needs to function properly. And when the pores stay clear, everything else becomes easier. Products penetrate better, texture softens, breakouts decrease, makeup goes on smoother, and your skin finally starts working with you instead of against you. The real secret is simple. When you understand what clogs your pores, you finally understand how to prevent it. When people hear the phrase, protect the skin barrier, it often sounds like something complicated or scientific, but it's actually very simple. Your skin barrier is your body's natural shield. It locks moisture in, keeps irritants out, and maintains the balance that allows your skin to stay calm, smooth, and healthy. The problem is that most people unintentionally damage that barrier without even realizing it. They scrub too hard because they want their skin to feel clean. They use cleansers that are too strong because they think a tighter, squeakier feeling means a better result. They exfoliate daily because they believe more exfoliation means faster progress. And all of those habits slowly strip away the protective layer that keeps the skin stable. Once that layer is disrupted, everything becomes more difficult. Breakouts become more frequent, redness becomes more visible, and dryness appears even in people who normally have oily skin. Gentle techniques don't just make your routine feel nicer. They prevent those small but damaging disruptions that can throw your skin completely off balance. Think of your skin as something that responds to how it's treated. If you push it too hard, it pushes back. It becomes reactive, sensitive, irritated, or congested. But if you're consistent, patient, and gentle, it becomes far more predictable. That's why deep cleansing should never feel harsh. It should feel deliberate and controlled, like you're helping the skin do what it naturally wants to do, not forcing it into submission. Cleansers are a great example. So many people believe that stronger cleansers equal better results. They reach for formulas that foam excessively, contain stripping ingredients, or leave the skin feeling tight afterward because they associate that tightness with cleanliness. But that sensation is actually the skin barrier signaling distress. A good cleanser should remove impurities without removing the oils that protect you. It should leave the skin feeling refreshed, not dehydrated. Gentle doesn't mean ineffective. Gentle means smart. The same goes for exfoliation. Exfoliation is one of the most misunderstood steps in skincare. People often think the more they exfoliate, the faster they'll clear blackheads or smooth out texture, but healthy exfoliation is like pruning a plant. You remove just enough to help it thrive, not so much that it struggles to grow. When exfoliation is done with care, using the right chemical or physical method for your skin type, it loosens dead cells without creating micro tears or inflammation. And that's exactly what supports the barrier rather than challenges it. When you choose the right exfoliant at the right frequency, the skin responds beautifully. It stays smooth without becoming sensitive, bright without feeling raw. Even the way you physically handle your face matters. Tugging, pulling, rubbing, these small habits contribute to irritation over time. A gentle touch is often underestimated, but it makes a huge difference. When you massage a cleanser onto your skin instead of scrubbing it in, you stimulate circulation without causing trauma. When you pat products in instead of dragging them across the skin, you reduce friction and preserve elasticity. These small shifts add up, and your skin remembers them. Protecting the barrier also involves understanding which products work well together and which combinations are too strong. Sometimes it's not the single product that causes irritation, it's the layering of multiple potent ingredients without giving the skin a chance to adjust. Gentle techniques include knowing when to simplify, when to step back, and when to let the skin rest. Not every night needs an active treatment. Not every routine needs to be complicated. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your skin is keep things minimal and consistent. Hydration plays a major role here too. When the skin is well hydrated, it's more resilient. It handles treatments better, heals faster, and maintains clarity more easily. Hydrated skin also produces oil in a more balanced way, which reduces the likelihood of clogged pores. Choosing products that replenish rather than strip, that soothe rather than shock, builds a foundation your skin can depend on. And once that foundation is in place, everything else becomes easier. Exfoliation is more effective, extractions are gentler, and deep cleansing becomes safer and far more successful. People often think that caring for the skin barrier slows down results, but in reality, it speeds them up. When the skin is strong, every product works better. When the skin is calm, every step produces more noticeable changes. And when the skin feels protected, it naturally stays clearer and brighter with far less effort. If there's one thing worth remembering, it's that treating your skin gently isn't about being cautious. It's about being wise. When you think about clearing clogged pores, it's easy to imagine one dramatic moment where everything gets fixed at once. But real, effective pore cleansing isn't about force or intensity. It's about technique. The right tools and methods can transform the entire process, making it safer, more efficient, and far more comfortable. And the truth is, most people struggle with blackheads and congestion not because they're incapable of removing them, but because they're using the wrong approach. When you understand how to soften the skin, prepare the pores, and work with the natural structure of the skin instead of against it, everything becomes easier, clearer, and much more predictable. One of the most important parts of effective deep pore cleansing is understanding that extraction should never begin on dry, cold, tight skin. A pore that's compacted with oil and debris is like a cork sealed into a bottle. If you try to pull it straight out without loosening it first, you're going to struggle, you're going to cause damage, and you're going to leave the skin irritated. But if you soften it, warm it, and give it a chance to loosen from the inside, the process becomes smoother and much less traumatic for the skin. That's why warm compresses and gentle steaming are so valuable. They don't open pores. Pores don't open and close, but they soften the material inside them. And when the debris softens, it becomes far easier to coax out without forcing anything. Using a warm compress for a few minutes can completely change the way the skin responds. Even people with stubborn congestion often notice that what once felt hard and immovable suddenly becomes more pliable. Gentle steam works the same way. It helps hydrate the outer layers of skin so the pore lining becomes less rigid. And when that lining is more flexible, extractions are safer. You minimize the chance of causing redness, bruising, or broken capillaries. It's not about heat, it's about softening and preparation. Then, of course, there's the matter of tools. A safe extraction method is never about squeezing as hard as possible or digging into the skin with fingernails. Not only is that painful, but it also pushes pressure into the surrounding tissue instead of the pore itself. That's where swelling comes from. That's where irritation begins. And that's when you increase the risk of scarring or post-inflammatory marks that stay long after the clog is gone. Using gentle rolling pressure with soft fingertips or a sanitized comedone extractor applied with the right angle and the right technique makes all the difference. The goal is to press down and around the pore, not directly inward. You're guiding the clog upward, not forcing it downward, but even with great technique, not every pore is ready to release what's inside. Some congestion sits deeper, some plugs are older and more compact, and some areas of the face are simply more sensitive, especially around the nose, chin, and jawline. This is where knowing when to stop becomes just as important as knowing how to begin. If something doesn't come out with gentle pressure, it's a sign that the skin needs more time, more softening, or professional help. Forcing it only creates inflammation, and inflammation is what turns small clogs into bigger problems. There are also tools and ingredients designed to support extractions long before you attempt them. Salicylic acid, for example, helps dissolve the bonds between dead skin cells, making them easier to remove. Clay masks help draw out excess oil without stripping the skin. Retinoids increase cell turnover so the skin naturally exfoliates more efficiently. These aren't extraction tools in the literal sense, but they make the skin more receptive, more balanced, and far less likely to trap debris in the first place. Over time, these ingredients reduce how often you even need to perform extractions because the pores stay clearer on their own. And then there are the times when professional extraction is not just helpful but necessary. Deep, compacted congestion that causes discomfort or doesn't respond to at-home preparation should be handled by someone trained to remove it safely. Professional tools, lighting, and technique make a huge difference, especially when the clog is sitting deeper in the pore or when the surrounding skin is already irritated. Knowing when to step back from DIY and seek expert help isn't a weakness, it's smart skincare. At the end of the day, effective pore cleansing is really about respecting the skin. It's about using preparation instead of pressure, softness instead of force, and patience instead of urgency. When you give the skin what it needs to release impurities safely, you protect the barrier, avoid scarring, and keep the complexion steady and clear. And when you combine smart methods with gentle daily care, your pores stay cleaner for longer and your skin looks healthier without the struggle. True clarity comes from working with your skin, not against it. A daily routine doesn't have to be complicated to be effective. In fact, some of the most transformative changes come from the simplest habits, done consistently, done correctly, and done with an understanding of what your skin actually needs. When it comes to maintaining clear pores and preventing blackheads from returning, it isn't the occasional facial or a once-a-month deep cleanse that makes the biggest difference. It's what you do every single day in small moments that keeps your skin stable, balanced, and resistant to buildup. And when each part of that routine supports the next, the results become something you can actually rely on, not just hope for your morning routine sets the tone for the entire day. It shouldn't strip your skin or overwhelm it with too many products. A gentle cleanse in the morning is enough to remove the oils and sweat that accumulate overnight without disrupting the barrier you've worked so hard to maintain. That clean, calm start is important because everything you layer afterward, hydration, sunscreen, treatment, works better when the surface is refreshed but not stressed. A lightweight moisturizer helps keep the skin balanced so it doesn't overproduce oil later in the day. And sunscreen, whether you're inside or outdoors, is essential because UV exposure breaks down collagen and weakens the pore structure over time. When the pores lose their firmness, they appear more noticeable and become more prone to trapping oil and debris. Protecting your skin from the sun isn't just about preventing wrinkles, it's about keeping the pores strong enough to stay clear. But it's the nighttime routine that truly carries the weight of preventing congestion. Throughout the day, your skin collects layers: makeup, sunscreen, sweat, dust, and particles from the environment. All of that settles onto the surface and into the pores unless it's removed properly. That's why double cleansing is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. An oil-based cleanser breaks down sunscreen, oils, and makeup without harsh scrubbing, and then a gentle water-based cleanser lifts away the residue. It's a 1-2 approach that clears the canvas without stripping it. When done consistently, it prevents the daily buildup that eventually turns into blackheads and clogged pores. Once the skin is clean, that's the perfect time to introduce ingredients that support clarity. Products like salicylic acid, niacinamide, and gentle retinoids help keep the pores functioning properly by dissolving excess oil, encouraging natural exfoliation, and improving the skin's overall texture. You don't have to use all of them every night. Sometimes the most effective routines are the ones that rotate active ingredients in a way that supports the skin rather than overwhelming it. Some nights focus on exfoliation, some nights on hydration, and some nights on repairing and replenishing. This rhythm allows your skin to work at its own pace without being pushed too hard. Hydration is another piece people underestimate. Clear skin isn't just clean, it's balanced. When the skin is dehydrated, it becomes rougher, tighter, and less efficient at shedding dead cells. That roughness is one of the biggest reasons pores get clogged. A well-formulated moisturizer or even a hydrating serum keeps the surface soft enough for natural shedding to happen the way it should. That softness is what prevents dead skin cells from sticking together and blocking the pores. Hydrated skin is smoother, more flexible, and far less prone to congestion. And then there's the lifestyle side of the routine, the part people don't always consider but feel the effects of every single day. Touching your face unconsciously can move dirt and oil into areas that are already prone to clogging. Not washing pillowcases often enough can lead to a buildup of oils and bacteria that transfer onto your skin every night. Exercising without cleansing afterward leaves sweat and salt sitting in the pores. Even something as simple as letting hair products drift onto your forehead can create small bumps along the hairline. These little habits matter because they create the conditions where congestion thrives. When you clean up those habits, your skin starts to stay clearer without even trying as hard. Consistency is really what brings everything together. A routine works only if you stick with it, not for one day, not for a week, but long enough for your skin to adjust, repair, and reveal the benefits of your care. Clear skin isn't about perfection, it's about rhythm. When the steps support each other and you show up for your skin every day, the pores stay clearer, the texture stays smoother, and the complexion stays brighter with far less effort than you might expect. When you build a routine that your skin can depend on, your results become something you can depend on too. There's a part of skincare that doesn't come in a bottle, doesn't sit on a shelf, and doesn't get talked about nearly as often as cleansers or serums, but it matters just as much, sometimes even more. It's the connection between your daily habits, your stress levels, your mindset, and the way your skin behaves. You can follow every step of a routine perfectly, use all the right products, and still feel like your skin isn't cooperating if the rest of your life is working against you. The skin reflects what's happening inside just as much as what's happening on the surface. And when you recognize that connection, everything starts to make more sense. Stress is one of the biggest triggers for breakouts and congestion, and most people don't realize it until they see the aftermath on their face. When your stress levels rise, your body releases hormones that increase oil production. And when oil production spikes, pores fill faster. Those little bumps along the jawline or sudden clusters of blackheads across the nose often have just as much to do with your stress response as they do with your cleansing habits. Even if you're doing everything right in your routine, a stressful week can override all of that. That's why managing stress isn't just about feeling better mentally, it's about giving your skin a chance to settle, stabilize, and heal. Sleep plays a huge role too. Your skin repairs itself at night. That's when cell turnover increases, when moisture loss balances, and when your skin processes the treatments you apply. But when you cut your sleep short, whether it's because you're busy, distracted, or simply not prioritizing it, your skin feels it immediately. It becomes more reactive, it heals more slowly, and it becomes more vulnerable to congestion. Lack of sleep also affects the way your skin handles inflammation, so breakouts linger longer and pigmentation becomes more noticeable. A good nighttime routine is important, but it works so much better when it's paired with the rest your body actually needs. Your daily habits matter too, much more than people often think. Something as simple as drinking enough water keeps the skin functioning the way it's designed to. Hydrated skin sheds more effectively, balances oil production better, and feels smoother overall. Food choices also play a part, not in a restrictive way, but in a realistic one. A diet filled with heavy, oily, or overly processed foods can contribute to inflammation and excess oil production. On the other hand, nutrient-rich foods that support your body's natural processes help your skin stay calmer and clearer. It doesn't mean you have to overhaul your entire diet. It just means being aware of how certain choices affect the way your skin behaves day after day. But consistency is what ties everything together. You can't build healthy habits only on the days you feel motivated. Skin responds to rhythm, to repetition, to small efforts that stack up over time. That's why people who commit to a consistent deep cleansing routine often see better results than those who rely on occasional treatments or sporadic skincare bursts. Your skin likes predictability. It likes knowing that every night you're going to take off the sunscreen and the makeup. It likes knowing that you're going to keep it hydrated, treat it gently, and give it time to renew. You build trust with your skin the same way you build trust with anything else, through steady, reliable habits. There's also something powerful about the way a good routine grounds you emotionally. Taking a few minutes in the morning or at night to care for your skin creates a moment of calm. It's a pause in the middle of everything else you're carrying. And that small moment can influence the way the rest of your day feels. When you take care of yourself, even in simple ways, you carry that feeling with you. And your skin responds to that consistency, that calmness, that sense of stability. The mind-skin connection isn't something mystical or abstract. It's practical, physiological, and visible. When your stress rises, your skin reacts. When you rest and hydrate and move your body, your skin reacts. When you're gentle with yourself and with your routine, your skin reacts. Everything is connected, and once you start treating your skin as part of the bigger picture of your life, the improvements become deeper, longer lasting, and much easier to maintain. Clear skin isn't just the result of what you apply, it's the result of how you live.